Hi buddies, it's me, Titi. Today we are going to make rainbow confetti snickerdoodles. Wow, don't those look so yummy and colorful? Before we begin, remember that Titi wants you to be extra safe. So make sure you always have a grown-up there with you to help out. Well, let's start by putting 1.5 cups of flour into a bowl. Very good. Next up, let's add 1 teaspoon cream of tartar. It's a powder you can find in the spice aisle. Next, we'll add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And after that, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I'll take my spoon here and I'll give it a good stir. Yep, that looks good to me. Now I'm gonna set this bowl aside for a minute and I'm gonna go over to this big bowl right here and I am going to add 3/4 cup of sugar. And I'm also gonna add 1 stick of softened unsalted butter. Now I'm gonna mix the butter and sugar until the butter disappears into the sugar. If you have an electric mixer, you can use one of those as well. I'm just gonna do it by hand today. That looks just about right. Next up, I'm going to add 1 large egg and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Perfect, now mix it up. Keep mixing until you can see that the egg has disappeared completely into the batter. However, be careful not to over-mix it, or else your dough might get a little bit too stiff. That looks pretty good. Now we're gonna take our dry ingredient bowl and dump it into our wet ingredient bowl. And now we're gonna mix it up again. If your dough's a little bit crumbly, don't worry, it'll come together in a little bit. Good. Now it's time to add our final ingredient, rainbow sprinkles. I'm using the tiny little circle sprinkles, but you can use whatever type of rainbow sprinkles you want. We need 3 tablespoons of this. Now let's gently mix it until the sprinkles are combined into the batter. But if you mix it too much, the sprinkles might get squished, so we don't want that to happen. There, I think that's pretty nice. The next step is to take your bowl and put it into the refrigerator for about 30 minutes so that the dough can cool a little bit. While your dough is cooling, now is a good time to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. All right, it's been 30 minutes, so we can proceed with our cookie batter. The next thing we want to do before we start scooping our cookies is to make a cinnamon sugar topping. This is a classic part of a snickerdoodle. So I am going to take a 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And I'm gonna mix them together in a little bowl. Just keep mixing until the cinnamon is distributed evenly. There. Now I'm gonna get my trusty ice cream scoop so I can scoop out cookies that are identical sizes. I'm gonna scoop out one cookie. Once you've scooped out your cookie, place it in your hand and firmly pack it together into a round ball shape. Terrific! Now, let's roll it in the cinnamon sugar mixture to get it evenly coated on all sides. That looks good. Let's place it onto a prepared baking pan that's covered with parchment paper. Now keep going with all the rest of your batter. Be sure to leave a few inches of space between your cookies to give them room to spread out in the oven. Fantastic! Our cookies are ready to go in the oven. Now let's put these cookies in to bake for about 14 to 16 minutes. Yippee! Our cookies are ready to come out of the oven. They smell so yummy. Now let's leave them on the pan to cool for about 5 minutes before we move them onto a cooling rack. Our cookies have cooled and now it's time to give them a taste. Let's see if they are as yummy as they look. That's extra good. It's like the most chewy, delicious sugar cookie and there's just a hint of cinnamon. It's perfect. Well, thank you so very much for hanging out with me today. I had a blast making these rainbow confetti snickerdoodles, and I hope you'll give it a try too. I'll see you again soon.